We've been sharing free episodes from our Patreon exclusive shows to give you a glimpse of what we offer on patreon.com/kindafunny during our August Patreon pledge drive. To sweeten the deal, we've just released the first episode to everybody of 20 Minutes of Tears, an 8-episode Let's Play series with Greg Miller and Brian Altano diving into Tears of the Kingdom. If you enjoy it, all 8 episodes are out right now on patreon.com/kindafunny for all members at the $10 tier or above. Thank you for supporting the wild adventure that is Kinda Funny. If you haven't joined in yet, kindly consider doing so before the month concludes. Thank you all so much.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Thursday, August 31st, 2023. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is XCast and Gamertag Radio's Parris Lily. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bless. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm amazing. I'm in studio
here on a random Thursday.
Yes.
No special occasion.
Yeah, nothing going on, right?
Nothing going on.
Just hanging out.
How does it feel now that Starfield reviews are out? You got to, of course, talk about it on the Kinda Funny Games cast as our lead reviewer.
It's a relief.
Yeah?
I had a weird pressure like I was putting on myself as lead reviewer for this game, in that I wanted to make sure I represented not only myself, but Kinda Funny in the best way possible as far as talking about this game. And I think we did that in the review. Ultimately, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I definitely think it is worth your time. I think this is a great game. There are some issues that will need to be ironed out moving forward, but you'll go get an Xbox to play Starfield for sure.
Yeah. Of course, Starfield is a game that we're going to talk about for a very long time. Of course, we're going to talk about it for the rest of the year, probably, right? But even going 100%. Into the next few years, I think we're going to have a lot of conversations about Starfield. We have a lot of content out about it. Of course, our first hour of me, Greg, and Barrett playing Starfield is out right now on YouTube. Like I mentioned, we have our Starfield review as a Kinda Funny Games cast, so that's up on that podcast feed. And also on youtube.com/Kinda Funny Games. Speaking of Kinda Funny Games, we also have a marathon Starfield stream going down where Mike is playing Starfield for as long as you want him to. And guess what? He started about, an hour ago at 9 a.m. And he's not stopping, because right now we have a layout where Mike is still playing Starfield even during this episode of KFGD. And so if you're watching live, if you're watching the video version, you can see Mike continuing on his playthrough. It looks like right now he's still in the character creator. Mike, how's it going over there?
Just reporting in live from the SS Kinda Funny Enterprise. It's going really well.
Hell yeah. And so, Mike's going to continue making his character. How are you liking it so far? Because, of course, you've not touched Starfield yet, Mike. This is your first time booting up the game. You've had an hour with it so far. How's that first hour treating you?
Blessing, the first hour has been absolutely incredible. What Bethesda has done is really something remarkable. The facial animations look great. I was in a mine. I touched some sort of weird piece of metal, and I could see the future, and then I woke up. So lots going on out here.
A lot's going on. Of course, we'll tune into Mike throughout the show, see what the update is, see how he's doing. It looks like he's floating out there in space, though. It looks like there's not that much gravity wherever he's at. His feet aren't touching the ground. I don't know if that's how that works, but it seems that's how he's taking it. All right, so Parris, back to you. Again, you're here for the Starfield review. And we're going to have a review roundup, so we're going to get into it, right? But I guess my one question before we even get there is, now that reviews are out, now that you've gotten to see what the rest of the industry thinks about Starfield, right? Like, what has it been like seeing the embargo lift for such a big game that you've gotten to be part of the conversation with?
It's about what I expected. I actually think this game is going to be very polarizing overall. I mean, just even within our own review, obviously the impressions were kind of polarizing, but I think that was expected, because I think this is a game that, I said in the review, I don't think 2 weeks is enough to truly judge this game. I think there's a lot of things about it that you're going to need to put many hours into and experience for yourself. Again, there's things that need to be fixed, but I think the best compliment I can give this game, and I know it sounds like a marketing term, but your journey really begins after the main campaign. I mean, truly, after you finish the main campaign, and we won't get into spoilers or anything, but that's when the game really takes off and you get to be what you want to be in that world of Starfield, or that universe of Starfield.
Parris, again, before we get into it, I want to bring in a question from JMazski, who writes in to kindafunny.com/KFGD, just like you can, and says, the hype around Starfield has been so intense you can physically feel it. It is on the level of Tears of the Kingdom and Ragnarok. Only difference is, this is a new IP. Is this the most hyped new IP of all time? What other new IPs have had similar hype?
Ooh, that is a very loaded question.
Yeah.
I think of The Last of Us just comes to mind right off the jump.
Big one, yeah.
You know, Gears of War is another one.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Cyberpunk obviously is one as well. I wouldn't say the greatest of all time, but I just think the anticipation and who made it, being, you know, Todd Howard and that team at Bethesda, highly anticipated for sure. So I think it'd be arguably is probably like in the top 5 new IPs that we've seen.
I think in terms of the hype for it, the hype is there. And I think hype is going to come in and I think paint a lot of people's impressions of this game, right? Because and I said this yesterday on my review, that I wouldn't call Starfield, for me at least, right, the best RPG of the year. And I don't look at it as the groundbreaking, life-changing RPG that I think a lot of people are looking forward to it being. That said, I do think that there's still a lot of value that people can get out of Starfield if you're somebody who is either a Bethesda fan or if you're somebody who is looking for a space exploration RPG. I think this game does that stuff very well. And there's, of course, like so many critiques that we can get into, but like there are a lot of special aspects about Starfield, right? And I think the hype is, I think as people experience that game, the hype is going to be redirected from going, oh man, this is the end all be all, to, oh wait, no, this is what it is. And either I'm going to take it for what it is, or I'm going to leave it for what it is. And I think that's going to paint a lot of people's impressions. I think we're going to see a spectrum of opinions about this thing.
100%. It's funny because we didn't talk about this during the review, but this is definitely more, because everyone's, Skyrim in space. This is definitely more Oblivion than anything. And ironically enough, I had gone back and been playing Fallout 3 recently, leading up to before doing review. You can still see a lot of those mechanics in there and gameplay style. The Bethesda RPG style from even back then is still very present in Starfield. And I don't think that's a good or a bad thing. I just think that's how they make their RPGs versus something like a Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what Greg was talking about yesterday, where as you play Starfield, you think about Skyrim, you think about Fallout and how groundbreaking those games felt when you played them at the time. You play Starfield and it is, this is the kind of game you make. Like, this is a Bethesda game. And so, like, that comes with certain things. And I think that makes a lot of sense, right? And I think, again, that redirects how you think about it going into the game. And as you experience it, again, what you put into it is what you get out of it.
100%. And to your point, this is not going to be for everyone.
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is as far as that goes. People that are hardcore into Bethesda-style games, they're going to eat this up. They're going to love it. But people that are coming in brand new, I think your mileage is going to vary. And again, I don't think that's a good or a bad thing. I just think that's the style of game that it is. But it's a very ambitious game. I think that's another compliment I can give it. They definitely put a lot. There's a lot of different things to do. There's a lot of things that you can singularly focus on and get hours of entertainment out of.
Paris, we're going to continue to talk about Starfield. We're also going to talk about a Mario Wonder Direct, and Volition is getting shut down. We'll talk about all this and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kinda Funny Games Daily. Remember, you can use Epic Creator Code Kinda Funny on all Epic Store and Epic in-game purchases like Rocket League and Fortnite to help support the channel. To be a part of the show, head to kindafunny.com/KFGD to write in with your questions, squad ups, and more. And remember, patreon.com/kindafunny will get you the show ad-free plus a bevy of bonus content. Housekeeping for you. Of course, our Starfield review is up right now featuring our lead reviewer, Parris Lily. youtube.com/kindafunnygames is where you can go to get to check that out. And speaking of Starfield, we got a Starfield marathon stream going down right now, and we're pushing it as long as you can take us. That is happening, of course, over on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. It's a Twitch exclusive, mainly because of the way YouTube works and scheduling streams and all that stuff. It'd be too complicated to do on YouTube, and so we're sticking that to Twitch. But I believe the plan is to maybe get a VOD going. Barrett, is that
we are recording everything, so but again, depending on how long we go, that's going to be a lot of footage. So I think we're figuring out how to get it up on YouTube eventually.
Hell yeah. Mike, what's the update? I see you're picking traits here.
So we took all.
Hello, come in, control. This is Captain Spacebike Mike. Yes, I am currently picking my background, and I'll tell you what, there's some great options here. There's a beast hunter option, a combat medic, and a diplomat. And sometimes, Paris, I have a way with words. I learned from the best like you. And I think maybe a diplomat might be my good choice.
Well, I like that.
I was a bounty hunter, by the way.
A bounty hunter.
You know what? I never said my name during the review, what I called my character. His name is Roscoe Soul Train. He's a bounty hunter, and he worships the great serpent.
There's so much we didn't talk about in that review. Like, we didn't talk about what our different playthroughs and different traits were. Mike, I'll let you continue to make your character. But yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of that stuff during the review roundup, because I want to ask you about things that you didn't actually get to during the review, because I looked at my notes, and half my notes I didn't get to.
Yeah,
I didn't. We'll talk about it all. But again, that's not all. Our first hour with Starfield is up right now. It is me, it is Greg, it is Barrett, all experiencing our first hour with Starfield, edited together by the one and only Roger Pokorny. You can check that out on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. If you don't care about Starfield, our Star Wars Ahsoka episode 3 breakdown is up right now on youtube.com/kindoffunny. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Jedi Master Deadpool, Delaney Twining, and Logan Delaney, the Delaney Bros. Today we're brought to you by Rocket Money and Netflix's One Piece, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 6 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Starting with our number 1, we got a Starfield review roundup for you. Probably the biggest review roundup of the year.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to start off with the Metacritic and OpenCritic, which I think keeps fluctuating, right? But right now, as I pulled it, the Metacritic is sitting at an 87. OpenCritic is sitting at an 86. I'm sure by the time you hear this, those numbers might have already updated. But we're going to start off with Dan Stapleton and IGN, who gave it a 7 out of 10 and says, "It's never a great sign when someone recommends a game on the grounds that it gets good after more than a dozen hours, but that's very much the kind of game Starfield is, and I do recommend it. There are a lot of forces working against it, and the combination of disjointed space travel, non-existent maps, aggravating inventory management, and a slow rollout of essential abilities very nearly did it in. It was the joys of piloting a custom spaceship into and out of all sorts of morally ambiguous situations, a rich sci-fi universe that eventually pulled it out of a nosedive. I'm glad that I powered through the early hours because its interstellar mystery story pays off and once again got the ball rolling. Combat on foot and in space gradually became good enough that its momentum carried me into New Game Plus after I had finished the main story after around 60 hours. Like Skyrim and Fallout 4 before it, there's still an immense amount of quality role-playing quests and interesting NPCs out there waiting to be stumbled across. And the pull to seek it out is strong." And then Matt Miller at Game Informer gave it an 8.5 out of 10 and says, "It took me a long time to fall in love with Starfield, and even after I did, certain aspects didn't work for me. But the things I didn't enjoy are vastly outweighed by my enthusiasm for this new, original science fiction universe, the breadth of its adventures, and the appeal of its many interwoven stories. Go in with the expectation that it will take some time to find your footing in such a vast gameplay space, and there's a universe well worth discovering here." And then Stephen Mills at Destructoid gave it a 10 out of 10 and says, "I wasn't sure it could be done, but Bethesda has managed to raise the bar for sandbox games even higher. In the end, Starfield is an epic sandbox open world RPG with a beautifully immersive universe, a captivating story, and fun and compelling gameplay the whole way. I'm so happy to have experienced Starfield organically, and I really hope you get to as well." On top of that, Parris Lily at Kinda Funny gave it a 4 out of 5 and had this to say in his TikTok. If the TikTok is available. Barrett, is the TikTok available? I don't know if Barrett's actually in there. They might be running around because I saw people in chat talking about some technical difficulties. And so we'll come back to the TikTok if that's available. From there, actually, I'll jump into Twitter. Shinobi has a great review roundup just summarizing a lot of the scores that we've gotten. Yep. So when you run through it, and again, this paints a picture in terms of the spectrum of the way people are taking it, right? Over on Destructoid gave it a 10. That's the review I just read. Gaming Bolt gave it a 10. Silicon Era gave it a 9. Press Start gave it a 9. Shack News gave it a 9. Video Gamer gave it a 9. Game Informer, 8.5. IGN, 7. GameSpot, 7. PC Games N, 7, and then you hop out into the out of 5s, right? VGC gave it a 5 out of 5. VG247 gave it a 4 out of 5. Comic Book gave it a 4 out of 5. Digital Trends gave it a 3.5 out of 5. PC Gamer gave it a 75 out of 100. Parris, again, we're looking at a spectrum of reviews here. This is what you expected?
It is. 100% it is, because to the point, this is going to be a polarizing game. Mm-hmm. Depending on how you play it, the length of time that you play it, for lack of a better term, your mileage is going to vary. So I think that is very reflective in the scores. There are definitely things in Starfield that are not good, that need improvement. And I think these scores reflect that. Like when you were reading out Dan's IGN score, I was nodding along to a lot of his criticisms because I had the same ones, but then there were other things that I felt that outweighed it. So this is why I think my score varies from what IGN is scoring it as a 7. But I think IGN score is valid at the same time. You know what I mean?
Do we want to hear why you gave it a score finally? Sorry. Greg was, downloading a bunch of games just because he thinks he's so important as CEO. Greg. Yeah. But we're back up, everybody.
Sweet. Let's see that TikTok.
Alrighty. Give me just a sec here.
You are the lead reviewer at Kinda Funny on Starfield. What did you give it on our 5-point scale?
I gave Starfield a 4 out of 5.
Okay, explain.
The sense of discovery, the amount of things that you can do in this game is what makes it great. If not the best game that Bethesda has made, it is definitely right up there at the top. As an RPG, it does a lot of things very well. There's some things, not so much.
What holds it back from being a 5?
The inventory system, not great.
No.
That needs to be refined. It needs a complete overhaul. The game also suffers, I think, just from a narration and UI standpoint of pointing you in the direction of where to go and things to do. Like simple things like, where do I go get ammo?
Why isn't there a local map for the planets, the cities I'm in? I just need to know what stores to get to.
Exactly. But this is a game that you want to play. You will want to immerse yourself in. But that's the beauty of Starfield is it's your journey. You get to do what you want to do when you play. This is a game that you will go get an Xbox for.
You are the lead reviewer at...
All right.
Awesome. So, Parris, I want to lead off with this.
Sure.
What's something you didn't get to talk about during the review that you want to bring up and talk about here?
One of my favorite moments of the game, I talked about one, but I had 3 specific. Another one I had that I didn't get to talk about, which I just think is the discovery aspect, going off the beaten path, has nothing to do with a main story or a side mission. I was on a random planet, found an unknown location. I was like, oh, okay, let's just go over there and go check it out. Turns out it was an abandoned communication station. And the robot, like the Vasco robots, a bunch of them took this over. And they had a mandate that no organics were allowed inside. And I was like, I'm going in anyways. Went in, they immediately were like, came in there. I'm thinking, oh, I'll close the door, they won't come in. Nope, they opened the door, they came in, firefight, the whole thing. I run out of there. They're chasing me halfway across the planet. And they're like, get out, or whatever it was they were saying. I was like, that's so cool. That's something I would not have experienced if I didn't go off the beaten path and look to discover it. So it made me think, what else is out there, that isn't a part of a story beat that I could find in Starfield? And with all these different planets, you just never know.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that we talked about toward the end of our review, Tim was asking about like game of the year top 10 and like, is this game going to make it or not? And like us talking about even your mileage may vary type thing. And even you nodding along to a lot of the criticisms that people have in their reviews, right? Just still looking at how much the good still outweighs the bad for you. That was one of the things that I was racking my head around of, I think toward the end of the year, me given more time with Starfield, because like to put in context, right? I mentioned this yesterday, but I played 40 hours. Probably about 25 hours of that was mainline, and then the rest is me doing side stuff. And there was some side stuff that I thought was worthwhile. But Starfield is a game that I think wants you to play it in a particular way, and it's not the natural way I think you'd expect to want to play an RPG, right? It was a lot of what our conversation was yesterday of, hey, like, kind of pick a lane and just go hard on that thing. Yeah. If you want to make your gameplay or your playthrough outposts and just focus on outposts and making that a thing, maybe do that. Or if you want to like really make researching like your thing, then just do that. Or if you want to like do what I did, and I very early on I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna double down on combat. I'm gonna level up all of my ballistic skills. I'm gonna level up my pistol skills, my shotgun skills. I'm gonna become a combat dude. And that was some of my favorite stuff in the game, was just going around getting into shootouts because I thought the gunplay was very fun. That's a thing that I could see myself coming back around where I do New Game Plus, right? I have that available to me right now, and I started New Game Plus already. I can see myself going back to that and just going, all right, let's stick to one thing. Let's do that, because one of the things that I wish I did more in my playthrough as well was I got a dream house for one of my traits. Yeah. Of course, like the game when you're creating your character, like what Mike's doing right now, you have your backgrounds and you have your traits. Backgrounds are basically what's the history of your character and how does that determine what your skills are, right? And so if you're like me and you did the Space Scoundrel, that means that you get good persuasion, or that you start off with a persuasion skill. You also start off with a pistol skill as well, right? And another skill. So that's what the backgrounds were. The traits I thought was the more interesting aspect of these very unique character qualities that give you these added benefits, but also some added negatives as well.
Exactly.
And so the ones I chose, I want to know the ones you chose. I chose the Adoring fan, which is one of the ones they talked about during that Starfield direct that they did during the Xbox Game Showcase, where you have just an annoying dude run up to you early on in the game, and he's like, "I'm your biggest fan," and you can accept him into your crew. And very early on, I was like, "Yo, fuck this guy! This guy's the worst." But also, he's kind of funny at the same time. And so, like, it's that push and pull. I ended up just like abandoning him at an outpost. But I had that, and then also I had a house that I had to pay like 125,000 credit mortgage on. And so like every week I would show it to my house and I had to pay like 500 credits to like keep the house, or else it gets foreclosed. But you go in there and I get to like customize it and manage it and like kind of live that Animal Crossing sim type experience.
And people are going to do that.
And I can totally see the route that people go down, where it is, no, I am playing this game like I am playing Animal Crossing, or I am playing this game like I'm playing Doom, or I'm playing this game like I'm playing No Man's Sky. And I think people are going to really have to pick and choose how they play the game to get the maximized amount of fun with it. And it kind of makes me want to play through it again just to get that experience.
Completely agree. And that's the whole thing. It's like pick a lane and just basically live out that role-playing fantasy of whatever it is you're going to do. Like, I can't wait a month or two from now to see some of the crazy ship builds that are going to come out of this. Like, I'm not smart enough to do it, but there's people out there that are going to just dedicate all their time and energy to building these outlandish ships that we're going to start seeing in the game, or these outposts that are just going to be completely elaborate, self-sufficient, creating their own resources, the travel routes and everything that Todd Howard talked about in our interview. Really looking forward to seeing things like that. And that's, again, where just in the 2 weeks, and I put in about 90 hours into the game, not enough. Mm-hmm. But that's not something everybody's going to want to do either. Not everyone's going. And again, this is where I give Dan credit, because he is true in his review from IGN that there is a slow burn early on to this game. And then it starts to open up and you start to do all these things.
I finished the main quest with such a good taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Right. And like for the first, if you were in the Kind of Funny office during my first 20 hours of this game,
I just saw the slacks and I was like,
oh my God.
I was like, uh-oh.
My first 20 hours of the game, when I tell you that I was livid by some of the choices they made in this game. And I think, I know the internet and chat and like comments or whatever are probably going to like take that in a certain way and be like, oh, you just didn't do this. You guys most of you guys are gonna have the same fucking experience. For the first 10 hours, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, why is this game this way? But there is a turning point, and that's how I kind of landed on a 3, right? Where originally I was like, fuck, this might be a 2 out of 5. Yeah. There's no way Bethesda's making a 2 out of 5 game. There was a turning point where toward the end of the game, I had certain experiences with certain side quests, certain like even shipbuilding. I found myself actually starting to fall in love with shipbuilding. That, and then the main quest, all that stuff left me with such a good taste where I'm like, okay, no, there's something special here. It's just there's a balance here of a lot of stuff. Like I said, Bethesda jank, quality of life, weird decisions, weird varying levels of writing quality, stuff like that. That is alongside, like so many different things to do in a scope that is truly impressive, and a world that if you allow yourself to fall into the world, there's a lot of fun to be had.
100%. And one last thing, and I'll be vague because it is a spoiler. A quest that you didn't do, but Greg and I did do, starts off so minor that you just think, oh, this is just some dumb fetch it quest, that literally just scales into this epic proportion that pays off in a way of, just think Mass Effect, the Shadow Broker. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
But when it pays off, you're like, God damn, this was great. And it spans like a few hours going through this whole quest, just doing this. And that, again, opens up the possibility. Are there other ones out there like that I just never experienced that are of this scale? I don't know. And that's the beauty of going back and continuing to play and just seeing what you find.
Hell yeah. So my last question on this topic of Starfield for the reviews, is Starfield the Xbox exclusive that Xbox needs? Does this feel like the beginning of the dominoes falling?
It does. And that's, again, I'm obviously on an Xbox podcast. This is the W that they needed. I think those Metacritic scores we saw were about what I expected, and I think that's fine. But this was the game that they can start building towards the future around. They can use this as, hey, this is the starting point of, this is the new Xbox. This is the next generation of Xbox games. This is the type of quality experiences that you should expect from us moving forward.
Yeah, I think, even though you look at GameSpot, you look at IGN, you look at me, and you're like, oh, 7.3. Like, this is one where it's not and this is a lot of what I was like kind of going circular on as I was thinking about my review and how I was going to talk about this game, right? Because it's not a 7 out of 10 in this is. I forget what did Immortals of Avium get, Chad?
It's like 7 out of 10. It's 7 out of 10.
Yeah. It's not a 7 out of 10 in the Immortals way, where I think Immortals you play and you're like, okay, yeah, like everything in this game is like kind of all right, and like it's a fun time in some places, but it's kind of like even. It's a 7 out of 10. Starfield specifically is a 7 out of 10 in the way that, and 3 out of 5 for me in the way that the highs are really high, but then the lows can be really low in a way that got on my nerves a lot, but in a way that, like we've been saying, right, mileage may vary. If you're somebody that can get past a lot of that stuff and you just find your lane in Starfield and find what makes it special to you, the highs are astronomically high as well. Yeah. And so I am with you that I think this exclusive is going to be something special. It reminds me of Death Stranding, where like you come out of it with your own thing and you're like, hey, either I like what this is or I don't like what this is. But I think the fact that it is Bethesda, the fact that it has such a wide scope, the fact that it is something different from them, it is this NASA punk RPG, I think that's going to resonate with a lot of people. And I think the conversations about it are going to carry and be interesting for the next however long. And hopefully you're right in the idea that they go through and they fix a lot of the issues and fix the inventory system and stuff like that, which I think there's a good chance there is.
Yeah, I think so too.
Let's get in to story number 2. But before we get there, we have some breaking news from PlayStation. This is tweeted out by PlayStation this morning during the show as we went live. The PlayStation Portal remote player launches starting November 15th. Only a couple of months away from that PlayStation Portal. Are you excited about this thing?
Speaking of polarizing. And it's funny. I saw obviously Greg with his hands-on impressions, and I watched some other creators that got hands-on with it as well. Mm. The idea of it makes sense, but it's missing so many things that it should have to really make this a winner. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to relitigate the whole thing. I think it costs too much.
Yeah.
At $199. I think if this was $150 even for what it is right now, it would make sense to pick up. So it's going to be interesting to see who runs out to go get this on the 15th. I just don't know if I'd like it. Like, I totally could see me using this in my house 100%, but I'm limited to no one else can be on the PS5 at the same time. And to me, that's kind of one of the biggest things, that it isn't a true cloud streaming device. And yeah, it looks like you can use it out of the house some kind of way, and obviously the Bluetooth thing. So I don't know. This is going to be a fascinating one when it drops on the 15th.
Makes sense. I think November 15th, in terms of timing, makes a lot of sense, right? November 15th. November is usually when you get like big hardware stuff like this. And so that makes a lot of sense. And I'm with you that it's a interesting one. It's not for everybody. The cost is I think a barrier for a lot of people. It's one that I look at and I'm like, oh, I'm excited about this thing, but also I'm probably not going to buy one. Like, I would love to, if we get sent them at Kind of Funny, if we get sent one, it'll go to Greg Miller, because Greg Miller is going to get way more usage out of it. If you get sent a second one, I'll for sure take it home and use it and have a lot of fun with it. I will not pay $200 for this thing.
And that's the thing. Yeah, that's the whole thing about it. I think the price point is going to be one of the big limiting factors on it.
Yeah, 1,000%. It's time for story number 2. And for story number 2, I'm welcoming to the stage the one and only Tim fucking Geddes, because we're talking about Nintendo. We're talking about the Nintendo Direct that happened this morning. We're talking about Super Mario Wonder's details and all of them. All of the details that got revealed to him. So many.
I pre-ordered my PlayStation Portal, by the way.
Did you?
Oh.
I just did.
Are you gonna use it?
Oh, yeah. Very excited. I tweeted this. I'm excited for it because I feel like this is going to push me to platinum more games. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of games like Final Fantasy 16 that I loved, tried going for the platinum, got a lot of the trophies, but then there's some that I'm like, am I really going to replay this whole game? I'm like, if I get to just casually do it on the couch while G's watching TV, I'm more into that, So I feel like it's a device for me. Many shortcomings. Don't like the price. You're totally right. $150 is where it should be, but I pre-ordered it. Will I end up? I just wanted to make sure I had one. You know what I mean? I want one day one just in case. But I'm excited for it.
Let's talk about this Nintendo Direct. Of course, we didn't live react to it just because there's so much going on today. Yeah. And I don't think it was worth us waking up early to show up at the studio at 7 when we also have another stream going out at 9. And also you have KFGD.
There's just a lot.
Yeah, like we're here and we're going to talk about it here. And so let's get into all the details. IGN has an article that is every detail from the Direct broken down about Super Mario Wonder. Tim, You watched this. I watched most of it. I also I was brushing my teeth when it was going, so I listened to all of it. But I only watched some parts of it. But what I want you to do, Tim, is stop me whenever there's a detail where you want to break down.
Awesome.
Because it's a long article. And so it begins like this. The Super Mario Brothers Wonder Nintendo Direct revealed a ton of new gameplay details for the game, including information on its multiplayer, power-ups, and more. The presentation began with a trailer for the new game that introduced players to the Flower Kingdom, a different start from most Mario games' Mushroom Kingdom. Bowser is back per usual, though, and instantly merges with the Prince's Castle to become a giant spiky ball of doom. Nintendo then showed off the different areas present in Super Mario Bros. Wonder's Flower Kingdom. 6 worlds circle the Petal Isles, giving players 7 areas to explore total, also including Pipe Rock Plateau, Fluff Puff Peaks, Shining Falls, and 3 mystery areas.
7 places total. Lies. There will be an 8th. There's always an 8th.
I feel like there might be an 8th, a 9th, and a 10th.
Probably.
Right? All these bonus courses.
There'll be an 8th and then a star and a flower and a mushroom.
Yep, 1000%. Players can move around the maps in a more traditional method from one level to another, though open areas also exist where players can take on levels in any order they wish. And that looks really cool.
It's pretty damn cool. There's essentially a more classic world map design where like Mario World type world map where you're just going level to level, but you can then open it up and it turns into a Mario 3D world type of map where you're running around it. And I imagine there'll be secrets there.
Yeah.
There's some shots of the world map that are so awesome. A lot of them look like what we're seeing here that's a little bit more traditional, but there's some that have like more depth to them, and it's like there's a lot more variety in a world map than we've ever seen in a Mario game, which gets me really excited.
A more direct courses menu has also been added, letting players quickly return to levels once they've visited them, which is amazing. Playable characters were also revealed, with Nintendo taking a new move and making Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, and 2 Toads all play the same. Luigi will no longer have a higher jump, for example, nor Peach will not have the ability to float. Yoshi and Nabbit are also playable, but these two work differently in that they can't take damage. Yoshi can also flutter jump and eat objects like in previous games. Very interesting. How do you feel about the characters playing the same?
I love that. That's my preferred way when it comes to Mario games, but I also love that they have the Nabbit and Yoshi that is kind of as difficulty options for people where they don't take damage, and Yoshi plays more like Yoshi does in traditional. This is what I'm talking about here with the world map. Like, look how cool that looks.
Dude.
That's really cool.
Sick. But Yoshi, I can't wait. Yoshi plays more like Yoshi would in like a Yoshi's Island game where there's the flutter jump and you can use your tongue to take in enemies and spit them back out, which is cool. I kind of like mixing the different ideas and gameplay styles that we're used to, but also using that as difficulty levels for people.
These characters will come across talking flowers as they explore each level, being represented with everything from motivating advice like onward and upward to disturbing dark thoughts. Quote, I wonder what Goombas taste like, end quote.
They actually talk.
Yeah.
Like it's
like
vocal.
they're voiced.
Yeah, and it's funny.
Yeah, because it sounds like just a dude.
Yeah, literally, it just
sounds like a guy.
Yeah. Which like is... I mean, it adds to the charm. We wanted charm, bless. And there's nothing but charm in this game.
It's a weird Nintendo decision, but in the best way.
Yes.
You know?
And that's where I want to stop here, right? Because in one of the things we talked about yesterday, Tim, as we talked about what we wanted out of this Nintendo Direct, was it yesterday or the day before? We talked about this recently.
Yeah.
Was the fact that I personally wanted to see what the levels and the themes look like, right? I wanted this game to bring it in terms of giving us those Starry Night moments out of the Mario Brothers Wii U game that we all loved. Tim, from what we saw out of this Direct in levels and presentation, even if you want to talk about power-ups too, did this give you what you wanted?
Yes, it did. Everything you're talking about of wanting more Starry Nights, it looks like we're getting more Starry Nights.
Yeah.
I'm still, the Tim Geddes and me can't stay within. It still has to come out. I'm still not completely sold that this is the next big step forward 2D Mario that like I would hope it would be after a decade of not having one. And I do feel like a lot of the people that are like, oh my God, this is it, are the same people that didn't really play the last 4 iterations of New Super Mario Brothers, where I'm like, there's a lot of things that I'm like, all right, this is just the same but tweaked a little in ways that I'm like, I don't know that I love.
Really?
The jump sounds different.
How does the jump?
It's just there's a lot of little things that are like, yeah, it's different, but is it better?
If you're tripped out by the jump sounding different, wait until Mario opens his mouth.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly though, but the amount that you're so used to the jump sound sounding a specific way, and you're jumping a lot in these games, these Mario games. I don't know if you know that. Spoilers. You're jumping a lot, all right?
It's crazy.
And it's weird. And again, I'll get used to it, but there's a couple things in this that I'm like, are these changes for change's sake, or is this going to be a big enough move? And I'm taking that small specific nitpick of the sound of the jump, but I feel like you can apply it to a bunch of the other things. That negativity out of the way. This is everything I
this looks incredible.
I think that we were talking about charm. We were talking about like what it would need to do.
What makes a good platformer.
Very special, good platform, but more than that, a good Mario game.
Yeah.
This looks like it's going to be an amazing Mario game. Will it be the best platformer ever in like a Celeste and things like that? I'm not sure, but there's some things we'll get to.
Here's my thing. I think this will be the best new Super Mario Brothers game. And I know technically it's not new Super Mario Brothers, but like in terms of the modern Mario iterations, this looks incredible. It's exactly what you're talking about, right? This isn't redefining what new Mario is, but I think this is the most creative and the most charming the modern iteration of Mario has looked like on the 2D side.
Here's what this game's going to do, and I'm thinking way ahead. We know Switch 2 is coming. There's going to be a Mario Maker 3. I'm telling you, a lot of the mechanics that they're dropping into this, they're going to put into that next Mario Maker.
Oh, for sure.
And we're going to be able to make our own freaking level. Like, this looks incredible. This looks absolutely incredible. Mario remains the GOAT. They just, hey, Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, this is going to be a great day.
It's going to be a great day for all of us.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Now, Bless, to your point about you think that this is going to be better than those, that's where I'm stuck. I know it's going to be as good, or at least expected to be. I don't know that it's going to be better.
Really?
I think it's going to be received better. I think that no matter what, people have a hate boner for the new Super Mario game, specifically for Wii U, which I think is the best one. So I do think that going in, this is going to review better. People are going to say, oh, it's the best one, blah, blah, blah. Will it really be, though? Will it, for the people that are in this shit?
Okay, what about this could not be? When we look at this, it's like, oh, this is the most fresh a 2D Mario has been, I think, since post Mario World, right? Or Mario World 2.
I think the only thing could be is if there's a forced mechanic in here that doesn't work very well, and it just takes away from the experience. That'd be the only thing. Like, just looking at some of the different things you'll be able to do. Like, if it just doesn't feel fun to do, or it's frustrating to use to get through a level, as long as it's balanced very well and feels fair, I don't see how this won't be.
Yeah, I guess my thing is Mario's my franchise. Yeah. Mario is the thing that I care about more than anything else in video games. And my thing is, this to me looks like a 9. It could be a 10. Yeah. I want a 10.
Like, are any of the new Super Mario Brothers a 10?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
But like, I think that they're 9s.
Okay, so your thing is like, you think this might fit just as like another iteration, but not necessarily like a elevating it to another.
Exactly. And hey,
I feel that.
I'm not mad at that. Like, I'm still going to get an amazing experience, but like, it's Mario. I'd hope that it could like push the boundaries. And hey, I hope that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Like, looking at all this, there's so much more positive than negative on this. Like, in fact, I don't even think it's negative. It's just like,
there is a negative that we'll get into, and I'll read the rest of the article so we can actually get into it. I mean, online
is awesome. They did it.
So you like online. Okay.
They fucking did it.
I didn't know if it, because as they started talking about, I'll read it. So let's talk about badges first. Badges serve as a perk system perk system of sorts in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. These are upgrades unlockable throughout the game and add some major gameplay changes to each level. Safety bounce stops players from falling in lava. Coin magnet pulls coins towards the player. Jet run adds endless speed, and so on. 4-player local
stop.
Yeah.
Badges sound awesome.
Badges sound great.
We mean you talking about that the gameplay of Celeste, the like mechanics of momentum and moving around. That's what this is.
That sounds like some advanced gameplay right there,
dude. That's challenge mode stuff with this gets me so damn excited. This stuff to me is what could really, really push this game.
4-player local was also revealed for Super Mario Bros. Wonder, though this looks fairly similar to prior Mario games. Online connectivity was revealed too, including what is essentially ghost mode data that comes with some extra gameplay benefits. Traditional online multiplayer was not revealed during the Nintendo Direct. Finally, Nintendo closed the Direct by revealing a limited edition OLED Nintendo Switch based on Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So you like how the multiplayer?
So the multiplayer, the way that it works, it's like you're not actually bouncing into each other and fucking each other up. It's
online.
Awesome. I mean, yeah, but I feel like there's the different options of you turn into a ghost or whatever. Yeah. But it's like you can like play and like, look, you're not getting in the way of each other, which is like, Yeah, that was the big problem.
Isn't that part of the fun?
No, it's not.
It's not. That's part of the fun.
That's part of the chaos fun.
That's part of the chaos fun of you being local, like together, and then you play for an hour and then never again because you hate everything.
No, you pick. I'm playing. I'm pick up my co-op partner. I throw them off the cliff. It's the funnest thing ever. That's the point. That's the point of it.
How many times have
Why are you playing multiplayer?
Mario 3D World with 4 players? A ton, and it's great. How many times have we done Mario Wii U? Like twice. Because
nobody has a Wii U.
No, it's on Switch now.
Because I would do Mario co-op multiplayer a lot with new Super Mario Brothers on the Wii, and I found that to be such a fun experience.
It is such a fun experience.
What's the point of multiplayer if you're not if it's not chaotic, if you're not even interacting with each other, if it's just ghosts? What's the point of it?
I mean, it's more than just ghosts, though. Like, there's some things here that don't seem.
I mean, there's the sign you can put down for so people can
strand type stuff.
Strand gameplay.
Yeah, no, but it looks like you can play levels. It's just not like playing through the campaign, but you get to choose levels that you are just playing through with people.
Yeah, but
that's
what's the point of it?
You're playing with others. It is exactly what people would want from a Mario game online. I'm telling you, when you see this in action, it is. I
want to bump into people and get them annoyed, and I want to fucking pick them up and throw them off the stage.
You say all that,
yeah,
but you also haven't been liking or playing those games.
I'm gonna play this single player anyway. That's what I'm gonna play this game. But if I was a kid, I'm honestly, this is what I am doing. I'm bringing in my own childhood into this. I'm bringing in the fact that I was fucking 13 years old, 14 years old. I might have been older than that, 15, playing New Super Mario Brothers Wii. And annoying the hell out of my sisters, and that was a blast.
Oh, I get it.
I want that experience. I guess locally I'll still be able to do that.
Wait, I missed that slightly. So they're coming out with a Mario Red Switch.
Oh, yeah.
Is that correct? So what is the OLED one?
Yep.
You know I don't have an OLED Switch.
Ooh, I mean, I don't know that now's the time to get one.
I know it's not. I keep.
But also, I love the OLED Switch. If you play handheld, Parris,
I have the OG Switch. So I almost wonder, do I upgrade even though I know another Switch is coming?
Yeah, that is the question. But I will say that the OLED Switch is one of the best gaming hardware updates I have ever seen. I'm an OLED guy, but literally, I enjoy playing games more on it because
I might have to do it. I might just say screw it and do it.
Final thoughts on Mario.
I'm so stoked. In so many ways, I can't believe they made the right decisions. I'm still a little concerned about, is this going to be the revolution that I've been hoping for and waiting for 10 years? 10 years plus. We're talking 10 years since the last New Super Mario Brothers game came out. Not 10 years since New Super Mario Brothers started. Yeah, that's more 7.
What was that, 2006?
6, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been a while. But yeah, this shit looks great. The online stuff, I can't believe that they're doing it as well as they are. And yeah, really exciting stuff all around.
I'm glad Tim's happy about the online stuff because I thought you were going to come in here fucking upset about it.
No, dude. No, I'm telling you. When people see it in action, they're going to be like, they did it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good for you, Tim.
Really quick, before we go on to our other story, I know Mike wanted to call in for possibly talking about a poll in the chat.
Yeah, Mike, what's up with the poll?
I don't know how much this affects the mic there.
Hello, Houston. Can you hear me? This is Commander Mike.
We're Houston. We can hear you.
Command, this is Space Bike Mike, and I have a big decision here. I need to choose a background, and I need Blessing in Parris, and I need the chat's help. We're going to put up a poll. I have now narrowed down to 4 backgrounds: Gangster, Ronin, Chef, and Long Hauler. Those are your 4 options, chat. The poll is now live. Blessing and Parris, what should I be?
Well, unless you're going to name yourself Khalif Adams, don't be Chef, okay?
Here's what I'll say. Ronin sounds cool. Are you really going to use that knife?
Right, yeah.
Are you actually going to use that knife? Do we ever do that in the way that we play these games? I'm throwing Ronin out. What does Chef do? Chef is cooking and stuff, right?
Let me give you a chef rundown. Chef, you will have gastronomy, which is new worlds, means new ingredients. You'll have dueling with a knife and scavenging.
What's with you and knives?
Yep.
Get the knife skills out of here. Nobody needs these knife skills.
Ronin has stealth, scavenging, and dueling. Long Hauler, ballistic weapon systems, piloting, and weightlifting.
Long Hauler.
Long Hauler.
I can tell you right now after playing Long Hauler.
Yeah.
God damn if I had all that at the beginning.
Yeah.
Gangster is shotgun, boxing, and theft.
Long Hauler.
Yeah. Unless, are you really going to be thieving out of people's pockets? I feel like some people play that way, but most people, I think, ignore that stuff. And then boxing is come on, just just bust out a gun.
No, you're going to want the weightlifting and the ballistics at jump.
1,000%.
Yes.
The ballistics are going to help you a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, the piloting, I think it will be good for you too.
Yep.
All three of those skills are great.
Command, the poll is now up. I appreciate your guys' insights. Chat, you get to vote. Which background are we choosing?
Mike, before you hit the grab drive and go to another system, when are you unboxing that Constellation Edition?
We will be unboxing this edition after you guys are done with KFGD, so hopefully you'll come join me.
I will be in there.
Unbox it.
I will be in there. And by the way, I can't put my character on screen. I just realized, because if I do, it's a spoiler.
Oh, good call. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we will talk. Boys, have a great Games Daily. Chat, make sure to vote, and I'll see you here very soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we're able to do really cool things like this because of your support on patreon.com/kindafunny. Over on patreon.com/kindafunny, you have all sorts of cool things like exclusive content, like Kind of Feudy, like the Next Gen podcast, and more. You can also go there to get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Rocket Money. Every single person I know that has tried Rocket Money has been shocked at how many subscriptions they have that they forgot about. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and it helps you lower your bills all in one place. Most people think they're spending about $80 a month on their subscriptions, when in reality, it might be closer to 200 plus when you're signed up for so many things like streaming services you use to watch one show or free trials for delivery you don't use. It's so easy to lose track of what you're actually paying for. With Rocket Money, you can easily cancel the ones you don't want with just the press of a button. No more long hold times or annoying emails with customer service. Rocket Money does all the work for you. Stop wasting your money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. That's rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. This episode is brought to you by One Piece on Netflix. The global phenomenon One Piece has finally gotten a live action adaptation on Netflix. This is an incredible world ruled by pirates, filled with never before seen superpowers and a hunt for a legendary treasure called the One Piece. It's an epic action adventure about following your dreams, searching for treasure, and ultimately finding your chosen family. The series was made by fans for fans, old and new. Showrunners Matt Owens and Steven Maeda are huge fans of the manga and come at their work from a fan-first perspective while still allowing new audiences to discover and fall in love with this story. Manga creator Ichiro Oda was involved in every step of the process at a level which was never seen before in any previous live-action manga adaptation. One Piece is an action-packed, warm-hearted, and joyful adventure that you don't want to miss. Don't miss One Piece on Netflix, August 31st.
Before we get into story number 3, I also want to shout out Kind of Funny XCast is recording later today with Parris. I guess Mike is doing the live stream, so Mike's not.
No, actually, Mike's going to be on. So
okay.
It'll be me, Mike, Gary. I don't know if Greg or someone else is as well.
Either, I think Greg or Andy is relieving Mike, I believe, while you guys do the XCast.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah, XCast is recording. It looks like on the calendar it says Mike, Parris, and Gary. Yeah. And so it's going to be the regular cast.
It'll be the first time all three of us are together in studio.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's going to be really hype. And it's going to be your Starfield questions answered. And so if you have any questions about Starfield, feel free to write into kindafunny.com/xcast, I assume is the link, to get your questions read on the show. Let's talk about story number 3. Saints Row developer Volition shuts down. This is a very sad story. This comes from a blog post that they posted on their website titled Farewell, which reads, "The Volition team has proudly created world-class entertainment for fans around the globe for 30 years. We've been driven by a passion for our community and always work to deliver joy, surprise, and delight. This past June, Embracer Group announced a restructuring program to strengthen Embracer and maintain its position as a leader in the video game industry. As part of that program, they evaluated strategic and operational goals and made the difficult decision to close Volition effective immediately. To help our team, we are working to provide job assistance and help smooth the transition for our Volition family members. We thank our customers and fans around the world for all the love and support over the years. You will always be in our hearts, Volition Games." Such a sad story.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this one it's upsetting for me, mainly because Volition, growing up, was such a cool studio because they were located in my hometown.
Yeah.
Right. I grew up in Champaign, Illinois, which is a town that's like in central Illinois, kind of in the middle of nowhere, right? Like it's a college town. People come down to go to the University of Illinois, but aside from that, it's like you're not really coming down to Champaign, Illinois for much. So the fact that we had a video game studio there was the coolest thing ever. And I remember like being blown away when I picked up Red Faction from GameStop one day. Brought it home, started playing it, and I saw the Volition thing in the beginning. I'm like, oh, this game was made here. Like this game was made in my hometown. I played through Red Faction, ended up becoming one of my favorite first-person shooters ever. Right, very special game, Red Faction. And I know a lot of people love Volition from Saints Row as well. Obviously, those two being probably their biggest two franchises. But like, yeah, Volition was one for me. That was the first video game studio I ever visited. I had friends growing up that would work there when I was in college, and so like they would do this thing where they brought me over. I think I'm not supposed to talk about this, but they're closing, and this is like a decade ago. But they're like there was a night where we would do like a lot of fighting game nights, right? We play a lot of Mortal Kombat, and around the time Mortal Kombat 9 had just come out, and they're like, yo, we got like a gameplay room in Volition. What if you came through when we all played Mortal Kombat 9 in Volition in the gameplay room? And that was the fucking coolest thing ever, right? And we like did it, and I was blown away. And like as I walked in, I saw like these copies of old Volition games. I saw copies of like Summoner 2 unwrapped. In fact, like I came home with an unwrapped copy of Summoner 2 that I still have in my apartment. But yeah, Volition is a studio that I think just means a lot to me in terms of giving me this tangible video game studio that was in like arm's length that I could actually like see and go, oh, people make video games. This is such a cool thing. And so like I have that connection to Volition, but I also know that so many people have that connection to Volition because they made special games.
Some awesome games. Some of the Saints Row's game. I mean, you know, the last one wasn't the greatest, but just over the years, fantastic games.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
when you're talking about the Red Faction, when we're talking about Red Faction Guerrilla, when you're talking about Saints Row 2, I know so many people love Saints Row 2. I came into Saints Row around Saints Row 3, and I really, really dug that game, and Saints Row 4 as well. When you're talking about, I know my friend Yusuf loves Summoner 1. I don't know that many people that played Summoner, but he fucking loves Summoner. There is a history there that I think is unfortunate to lose in this way, especially when it comes down on Embracer, which is a company that has made some wild business decisions. Me and Greg have talked about it quite a bit, of the fact that back a few months ago, they did their financial call, and they had these grim look on their faces because a deal that they were about to make had fallen through the day before, and they couldn't get that signature going, and like that was a big portion of money that was just lost for them, which is leading to them having to do things like this, right? Close Saints Row. And that deal reportedly was with Saudi Arabia. And it's like, really? This is what you're hinging the future of your company on, right? Like this controversial business deal that like seemingly wasn't concrete for y'all. This is what you guys are doing. Yeah. And it's that decision on top of so many decisions of adopting and acquiring these studios that, you know, seemingly have no like plan or no consistency in terms of, you know, these are just studios you're picking up. It doesn't feel like there's a plan here. It doesn't feel like there's a targeted attack here. It feels like you're just buying things just to buy things, to put out things, and hopefully maybe make money off of the amount of games you're putting out as opposed to the quality of games you're putting out.
I think that's exactly what it is. I think this is the ugly side of the business that, you know, I don't like talking about, but you have no choice but to talking about. And it's kind of, even with all these acquisitions that we've seen. I mean, obviously we know Xbox is still going through this Activision Blizzard acquisition. Clearly Starfield, Bethesda, that was another big acquisition that they did. And it's my worry about the industry where I think we're getting dangerously close of it being too much.
Yeah.
Because of exactly what's happening. Okay, it's acquisition season, you're grabbing all these studios, but then you realize, oh wait, we don't know how to properly monetize this or what to do with it. So now all these people are out of jobs. And these legendary studios, like you just talked about, go away. And why? So I don't know what the answer is going to be because I don't think it's going to stop. I think we're going to see more of this, unfortunately, and it's sad. Hopefully, you know, this turns around in a few years and the industry stabilizes, but we're getting dangerously close to just too much.
Yeah, I know somebody in chat mentioned that like it feels like a house of cards, and that's exactly what Embracer in particular feels right. Like feels like, right, where, you know, THQ OG went away just because I think that AA sphere of video games became less and less viable as video games got more expensive to make, as indies came through and kind of took up that bottom tier and like showed that, hey, even on a lower budget you can make really special things, right? And so there became less and less room for 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 games that were made on a AA budget that you're just shitting out at some point, right? Like that became less viable, and that's why that went away, right? And Embracer's coming back and trying to navigate that space, which is a really weird thing, and they're doing it in a way where it's like, all right, like good luck to y'all, but this does not seem like a good business strategy whatsoever
at all. And that's the one other thing about this too. The other byproduct of this is even the studios that don't go away, we're going to see less risk because why take a wild swing on something that if it doesn't have the proper ROI, we could go away. Yeah. So in other words, make something that's safe or make just enough so that we keep the lights on and stay in business. Like honestly, Starfield is a great example of this. If Bethesda was still standalone, that game's probably out 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Because they needed it to be out.
Could you imagine the version of Starfield that would have came out 2 years ago?
You know what I mean? Microsoft,
that probably would have been a Cyberpunk situation.
Yeah. I mean, that's another great example. Clearly, CDPR was in a position where that game had to come out, even though it should not have come out. Yeah. If anything, we're about to get the real version of it here in a few weeks, but that's my worry. You want to see more innovation in the industry. You want to see these companies take more risks and try things. Not everything's going to land, but the ones that don't land, this happens.
Yeah.
They go away. So I don't know.
Yeah. Hearts go out to, of course, the workers that work at Volition. Hope y'all land on your feet. And yeah, if you're somebody who works in video games and you have opportunities available for people to come in and work development and stuff, reach out to people who just lost their jobs at Volition because it's tough out here in tech and in games and all this. And so, yeah, again, good luck to people. Story number 4, nearly 260 developers are now working on the next mainline Witcher game. This is Tom Ivan at Video Games Chronicle. Over 250 developers are working on the next mainline The Witcher game, which is codenamed Polaris, CD Projekt has confirmed. The company provided an update on the size of its development teams engaged on current projects as part of its quarterly financial results on Wednesday. The team working on Cyberpunk 2077's upcoming Phantom Liberty expansion is its largest, although that will soon change, according to CD Projekt CEO Adam Kaczynski. Quote, at the end of July, the Phantom Liberty team working on the pre-release phase consisted of 300 people, he said during an earnings call. That's fewer than at the end of 2022, but it still remains our biggest team. On the other hand, the Polaris team has grown to almost 260 developers at the end of July, end quote. Quote, after releasing Phantom Liberty, we will transfer a big part of the team to Polaris, he added later. Phantom Liberty is set to release on September 26th, and it promises to entirely overhaul the way Cyberpunk 2077 is played, according to CD Projekt Red. The company first announced in March 2022 that it was working on a Witcher game, which would kick off a new saga for the franchise. It was also revealed at the time that the open-world title is being built with Epic Games' Unreal Engine rather than its proprietary Red Engine, which powered previous Witcher games and Cyberpunk 2077. The game entered pre-production last May, and in October, CD Projekt confirmed that it would be the start of a new Witcher trilogy. It also said it was planning to release all 3 games within a 6-year period after the first. I keep forgetting about that last part of, wait, y'all gonna release 3 Witcher games in 6 years? Good luck. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah. But yeah, cool. 260 or 250 developers working on the next mainline Witcher currently. Sounds exciting, right?
Yeah,
it being the start of a new trilogy. Yep. Sounds exciting.
Yeah, it does. I mean, clearly they're going to go all hands on deck with this one because it sounds like this is going to be the main line of the Witcher games. And, you know, obviously with the troubles that CDPR has had over the past few years, it kind of seems now they're at the point of redemption here with Phantom Liberty coming out. And then if you stick the landing with the next Witcher game, hey, they're back.
1000%. Story number 5, Street Fighter 6's second DLC character, A.K.I, arrives in September. This is Tom Ivan at Video Games Chronicle. Street Fighter 6's second DLC character, A.K.I, will be added to the game next month. A.K.I will be unlocked on September 27th for players who own the Year 1 Character Pass. Capcom said players will be able to try out A.K.I for 1 hour with a rental fighter ticket, which can be obtained via the in-game fighting pass. Like all other DLC characters, A.K.I will feature in all 3 Street Fighter 6 modes, World Tour, Fighting Ground, and Battle Hub. Quote, feeding off orders from her master, she injects poison into enemies that dare stand within striking distance, all with a smile, according to Capcom. Hell yeah, this is exciting. Are you a Street Fighter person?
A little. I mean, I'm not huge into the fighting scene, but I understand how great Street Fighter 6 is. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, this is fantastic news that this is happening.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun watching this trailer when they released it yesterday. This character, new character for the franchise. Yeah. She looks a lot like Valdo, just in terms of how she moves. If you played Soul Calibur back in the day, like she kind of has that like slithery.
Yeah, I mean, look at it, it's dope.
Yeah, and she also has like the claws. Like so much of her is very Valdo, but also she has like these stretchy movements and like she has like these poison moves, and I don't know if that means that like her moves are going to take down, like that's slither right there. Yeah, that's 1000% Valdo. Yeah. I don't know if that means she's going to take down people's health over time or anything like that, but Either way, I think she looks different. I think she looks fresh, and I'm very excited to check out this character when she comes out.
I forget which villain it is, but the way she moves around and like with the poison stuff, she reminds me of a villain from Arkham Origins that like poisons Batman at some point. Especially like the way that she's like wrapping around people. It's crazy.
Scarecrow.
Yep. That's who I was thinking of. Thank you, Bless.
Yeah. Wait, are you serious? Or you're joking?
No, I'm
okay,
joking.
I was gonna say, 'cause I'm just, the way you said it first, I was like, wait, is this
Copperhead? Thank you, Chad. Copperhead.
Final news story for you. Story number 6. Beyond Good and Evil 2 20th Anniversary Edition has been rated by ESRB. This is George Yang at IGN. Beyond Good and Evil might be coming to modern platforms soon, as a ratings board has listed an anniversary edition of the game. As reported by Gamatsu, the Electronic Software Ratings Board, ESRB, has rated Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition for PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, Switch, and PC. What does that do for you?
We'll get the 40th anniversary edition of this before we get Beyond Good and Evil 2.
1,000%.
That's what this does for me.
I don't think we'll ever see Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I don't either. So,
oh, man.
You know, it's been so long since I played that game. I don't even really remember the story plots, anything. So with the sequel coming, I don't know. Maybe if the 2 does come out in the next few years, this will be worth picking up to kind of get a good refresher.
Well, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Beyond Good and Evil 2, though, so far away.
Yeah.
If I want to know what's coming out to mom and grab shops today, where would I look, Paris?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today, we got Somerville for PS5 and PS4. Whoa, that's random. Somerville?
Wait, what? That wasn't already on PlayStation?
No, because that was an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah,
remember?
they had the.
It was Xbox and PC.
Yeah, it was on Game Pass too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. So this is randomly coming to PlayStation out of nowhere.
Play Planet of Lana instead.
Play Planet Lana, but also
so good.
Somerville, pretty good. I know a lot of people are hating on Somerville, and I understand
you as well a little bit too.
No, but
though.
I really liked it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really liked Somerville.
Okay.
It just wasn't inside.
It wasn't. It really wasn't.
It was not inside, but it was still a pretty good game. I like Somerville. We got Trine 5, A Clockwork Conspiracy for PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. War Hospital for PC, PS5, Xbox Series X. Mega Man.
I gotta look that up.
Which
the hell
one?
Is that
War
mean?
Hospital?
War Hospital? What does that mean?
I imagine it's like a sim where you are taking care of like soldiers that have gotten injured in war, and they come back and you have to like manage it like a roller coaster tycoon. Like you're in a war hospital. Oh yeah, Mega Man X Dive offline for PC and mobile. Oh, I nailed it.
I mean, yeah, you pretty much
nailed that shit.
God damn it!
This is the roller coaster tycoon of war. Let's go. All right, War Hospital out today. That's for you. Go check it out, I guess. We got Title Milestones 2 for Switch. We got TMNT Shredder's Revenge Dimension Shell Shock DLC for PC, PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. And then we got Trip World DX for Switch. New dates for you. Let me say this clearly. Humanity, that is humanity spelled with a Z at the end. Humanity hits Steam Early Access on September 18th. Looks to be a zombie game, I imagine, like a World War Z type situation. Deal of the day for you. This comes from VGC. Free Range Games' Spelldrifter will be free to claim from Epic's PC Marketplace from September 7th through the 14th. And then the next batch of free titles on Amazon Prime have been revealed. This month, you're getting Football Manager 2023, Ozymandias, Bronze Age Empire Sim. You're getting Absolute Tactics, Daughter of Mercy. You're getting Dexter Stardust, Adventures in Outer Space. You're getting Shotgun King, The Final Checkmate, which that game, pretty cool. I like it. Unsolved Case, Murderous Script Collector's Edition. And then you're getting 100 Days Wine Making Simulator. All as part of Amazon in the month of September. Paris, now it's time for kindoffunny.com/you're wrong, where you write in, let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong, so we can correct it for those watching later on YouTube and listening later on podcast services around the globe. The Naughty Biscotti writes in and says, A.K.I is an acronym, but her name is actually pronounced Aki. Interesting. In the news article, it has like dots, so it's A.K. So I'm saying A.K.I, but if it's Aki, I'll say Aki. And then that's it. For kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. We nailed it, Paris.
We nailed it.
Absolutely nailed it. Tomorrow's hosts for the show are going to be me and Tim. If you're watching this live, there's no KFG post show. We're kicking it back to the stream for the Starfield Marathon stream, of course. This is going for as long as you want it to go. Isn't that right, Mike?
That is right, Command. I am here. I have awoken, and we are a space hauler.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Mike, how long are you prepared to go for?
Blessing, I will say that the Kind of Funny record is 22 hours. I am prepared to be here for 72. I will stay here until Monday, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care.
I don't think Mike is lying either. I think Mike is prepared to go for 72 hours. And so stay tuned, hang out on Twitch, cheer him on. Oh man, this man's gonna beat Starfield in like in 2 days. Mike is going for the world record. This might be a world record run.
And it's funny because we were just talking about on review where Parris was like, the way we played this for review is not the way you should play this. And this is just how Mike's going to play it.
Yeah. Barrett, you want to take bets on, does Mike beat this game by the end of the stream? Parris, I want you on this too. Does he beat the main quest?
No. I say no.
No, I'm going to say no.
I think he gets too lost in like exploring and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Chat, if you get into 72 hours, I bet he beats the main quest. The 25-hour main quest.
If that's what he focuses on. But knowing Mike, he's going to get distracted.
Mike will get distracted. That is a really good point.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you think he passes out on stream at all?
Yes. Yeah.
You can hit.
It's not even a question. Wearing a spacesuit during this thing? Yeah, he's going to fucking pass out from heat.
I'll be right
1,000%. Also, we can hear your microphone, just so you know.
Oh, that was, I still had Mike unmuted. Sorry about that.
Gotcha. No worries. Again, that's happening all throughout the weekend, possibly, but at least for the next however long you push
I think it's
us.
like 6 hours right now. But if you're watching on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, any subs, resubs, gifted subs, all that, I think build towards that timer. And you can let him go for as long as you want him to. And he's committing to 72 hours.
Let's
apparently.
Insane.
Parris, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of KFG.
Thank you.
This has been an honor.
Yes.
Love hosting with you.
A pleasure.
Congrats on reviewing Starfield. I know it's a big weight off your shoulders to have it all out now.
I know. Now on to the next.
And honestly, like, it's also on to Starfield, right? This Starfield content ain't stopping. And honestly, what's next? Cyberpunk? Like, that's the next big thing. So let's get ready for that.
One to the next one.
Also got Lies P, also got Mortal Kombat 1. It's going to be a packed September for you. But for now, of course, this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday live right here on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. Till next time, Game Daily.